It's the SDG Podcast. Before we get started, you can check us out on the web at solutiondesign.com/podcast or find us on all the social medias, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Solution Design Group. All right, gentlemen, we're doing another pre-event for reInvent AWS. Joining us today, Peter Lawrence.
Hi there.
Chad Judner and Ben Story. Ben is our partnership guy, so he manages our partnership with AWS. And you're going to reInvent this year again.
Yes, we went 2 years ago. We did not go last year. Yep.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did a virtual session or two.
I worked with the great Chad Jutner, and we put together a really fun day at the office. And the nice thing about reInvent, if you can't make it, is most of the sessions are recorded, so you can watch them back, and it's a really fun learning community event as well to get a group of people together and watch some sessions.
So what does this year have in store for us?
You know, I'm hoping to from my partner side, I'm going for a lot of education around how to help advance us and serve our customers better from a partnership angle. How can we work with AWS continuously to drive better value for our customers through different programs so maybe we can get some funding for our customers. From what I've been seeing, it looks like Gen AI is another big focus as all the big companies continuously push and innovate around Gen AI. And, hopefully I got some meetings set up with some various other potential partners. So looking to get some networking in as well, some nice face-to-face time out there in Las Vegas.
Is it always in Vegas?
It is. It's okay. And I think it'd be really hard for AWS to host it someplace else because it's spread out among Chad, like 5 or 6 hotels.
Yeah, I think it was 5 when we were there. And I mean, just the amount of space they need, at any given moment, there's dozens of sessions happening concurrently. And outside of the sessions, just the vendor space and all of that stuff. This is what Vegas is built for. And I don't even know outside of Dubai, where else would they have this? I don't even know that there's and I think now that E3 is kind of dying down a little bit, I think this is the biggest thing that happens in Vegas every year.
It might be. I think the 2 years ago when we went, I think there was close to 30 or 40,000 people that came in for this conference.
It was insane, the number of people. The volume that they do is incredible, and the quality. I mean, logistically, I don't know how they do that, right? It is just an incredibly complex event to throw.
It's somebody's full-time job, right?
It might,
yeah.
And department.
They're militant about the sessions. You got to sign up ahead of time, and if you didn't, I mean, they're scanning badges. They are aggressively hardcore about making sure that you're signed up. 2, you're not just some random strolled in off the street. It is, and you can't sneak into sessions. They actually, if they're full, they're full. You move on, do something else.
Right. Oftentimes they do have some overflow rooms and things like that you're watching it on a screen, so you might not necessarily get to see it live. And that's probably one of my biggest recommendations from a keynote standpoint, because the keynotes, they get pretty crazy. They jam a lot of people in that big auditorium where they host the keynotes live. And, if you're a veteran and gone to reInvent quite a few tiem,s you probably know that it's probably just best to watch it on your computer from your hotel room and then go to your sessions. But if you're a rookie going to reInvent maybe for the first time, I think it is kind of fun to go check out 1 or 2 of them live. They have some fun entertainment there. I think I went to one of them a couple years ago. They had a live DJ playing music, and I mean, it can be a little much at 8 a.m. in the morning after a night in Vegas, but it's part of it. It's the experience. It's pretty cool.
I was gonna say that's one of the biggest things. Next time, I will tell myself ahead of time next time I go, and then I'll get there and I won't. But every night, try. Yeah. And I'm sure, I know there's a much smaller squad going this year, right, Ben? It's you and our MD and maybe an AE, maybe Simon, right?
Yep. We have
a smaller contingent. I can only imagine though that I mean, you're still going to have an amazing time. And every single night is going to be packed with, what do we call it? Networking, quote unquote, networking.
Networking, happy hours and different things like that. Yeah, it's, kind of getting into it just to kind of back up a little bit even too. It's like we like to get in on Sunday, just because it kind of helps beat the rush a little bit. And a little bit of a pro tip is look for a place to grab your badge and everything at the airport if you can, just because like the expo gets to be super crazy. I mean, it's just enormous how big the expo is and how much stuff is going on inside and outside the expo. So yeah, try to get there early, check in at the hotel, and if you can get to the Venetian even that day or early on Monday to grab your swag bag and stuff like that, then you're not waiting in line, wasting time to get all this stuff. And, at least you kind of don't have to worry about them selling out or getting, not getting something. Because everybody gets, I think, like a hoodie or something like that for showing up. So you get a nice little spot. But that's probably one of my biggest things is kind of even getting in there and kicking it off. And then just also make sure that you give yourself probably an hour or so in between sessions, because one session could be at Mandalay Bay and one session could be at Venetian. And you're riding the bus and have to wait for that transportation to take that trek from one end of the strip to the other. I think that's probably, thinking back, probably one of our biggest lessons learned from when we went a couple of years ago is we were all like super excited and wanted to get in as many sessions as we could. And I think we almost got burnt out by Wednesday or Thursday because it's
pace yourself.
It's crazy. It's a marathon. It is definitely a marathon to get through this week, with all the activities that happen afterwards, the expo, all the networking and all the sessions and learning. You're ready for a break come the weekend. We'll say that.
Yeah, I think I will say though, like Monday and Tuesday, I mean, we made a lot of friends Monday, those first couple of days, and that helps make the end of the week go a little easier, right? Like you don't have to be stuck in sessions nonstop. And I don't even think it's really, after doing it, I don't know that it's beneficial, right? Like, yeah, I'll hang out in a couple of sessions on Thursday, but you get so much packed in, you're not going to retain it. Right, like you're going to lose a lot of it. So one of the cool things about going with a larger group was meeting everybody for dinner or drinks after the sessions kind of wrap, because the sessions kind of wrap at like 4 or 5, or I forget what time. And then if you're there as, like in me or Peter's role as a developer, as a user of all these services,
or anything like that,
yeah, the ability to go with another one of us would be huge, right? To be able to like knowledge share, offload, and just talk about everything that day instead of like punting a week and
forgetting everything that you wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that is such a cool thing, because you all went to like different sessions, and then at dinner was just a big jam session of like, hey, I learned this, I learned that, and you can gain so much more by dividing and conquering with that kind of group that we had last time.
So did you, when you picked out all your sessions and stuff, did you see all the ways they slice and dice this thing for different, like just the sessions and tracks and groups? Like there's all these types of sessions and and experiences. So you can go by levels but there's ones where like there's a partnership options. It's like by role. There's a lot in that website. I was impressed.
There is a ton of different things out there, and I would say, maybe another little pro tip is check out the lightning sessions in the expo, because those typically are not recorded. Because if there's ever a conflict, that if you're looking at this lightning session is in the expo at a partner booth, or maybe it's at a different thing, go to that versus going to the hour-long session in one of the big ballrooms, because those are going to get recorded and you could, watch those back. So as you're building your list of different things that you want to do, take that into consideration. And that's one thing that I learned from going a couple of years ago was there's a lot of really good content in these lightning sessions, which are about 15 or 20 minutes. And they might be at like the AWS marketplace booth, or they might be at the innovation booth, or a lot of various other partners in the expo are talking about their products and different things like that. So if there's different plugins like Snowflake and other things like that, maybe that you might be interested in, you can go to these little quick 15-20 minute sessions and get a lot of value from those and then talk to the people right there if you have questions. So you get some really nice connections made and learning as well. But yeah,
are they scheduled ahead of time, Ben?
Yes, but you can't like sign up for them. So they are like first come, first serve. So
but you can get an idea of what's going to happen at 9:35 in the morning or whatever.
Correct. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the way that AWS does their signups is they open it up and you have to be Johnny on it to get signed up for a spot because like Chad said, they do fill up. So if they fill up, then, get on the waiting list or show up and wait in line. But then also don't be afraid to like heart it or favorite it because those favorite, like the lightning talks and other things like that, still show up on your agenda. So then you can kind of figure out, okay, I have some overlap here. I'm going to go to these two lightning talks instead of this 1 hour long presentation, and stuff like that. And yeah, they got different roles. So they got C-level things that if you're C-level and you want to go to certain things and talk specifically around high-level business cases and different things like that, all the way down to I'm a new developer into AWS and I just want to immerse in all the things. So, and everything in between. And that's where it's nice to have a lot of people go because then you get that nice mix of different topics.
Yeah, the thing I was thinking of is called guides. So there's industry guides, public sector, hero guides, partner guides, and then under those, different categories there. So
yeah, I would take a look.
I wish I had that kind of stuff because it was always looking through just session, some kind of way to figure out what I should be looking at.
Yeah, they are nice because if you're a data architect, you could go into the data architect track and AWS lays out, hey, here's our recommendations for some things that you should look at throughout the week. So the AWS does a really good job of laying this conference out. They do a really good job of like giving you some different tracks, like based on your role or based on a category, like a vertical. Like if you're in healthcare, they have healthcare tracks or government tracks or public sector things that are very, very specific to that industry focused.
So what are your goals this year, Ben?
My goals is to continuously learn more how better ways that we as SDG can provide funding for our customers. Because I think if we can fund some of the project, it will help our customers be more successful in the end to get some AWS dollars, to get our experts in the door to help whatever cloud journey that they might be on, whether that's a migration, whether that's well architected reviews, so on and so forth. So, and then just to continuously meet more AWS people. The more AWS people that we can meet and network in with, I think just helps the strength of our partnership as well.
For sure. I noticed that even though the high level pieces were split up like data and storage and things like that, there's a lot of AI, data for AI, storage for AI. Everything it's like it's taken off. Chad, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think I went the perfect year, right? Like, obviously, everybody's talking about AI. Great. That's not really saying anything there, right? But you don't have to, storage for AI. You could also just call it storage, right? Like,
right.
The fact that everybody is excited about AI right now, I am too, obviously, right? I'm doing a lot with it, but it is almost comical the degree to which it has to inject itself into every single conversation, right? Like everything we talk about now has to include some sort of AI aspect. And I'm
hamburgers for AI.
Yeah, and it's just AI. It does a disservice, right? Because it's a really cool technology and it's a really cool thing to be thinking about and all the other stuff. But you're gonna get people like fatigued on the idea, right? If you just put it everywhere. I mean, Microsoft just had their event. Everything was Copilot, right? Like
I get the sense that a lot of it is like it's like having different kinds of Boggle. The game Boggle. This is football Boggle, baseball Boggle. It's all just a box of letters you shake. It's the same stuff inside. So what what do you have to go to get enough of it, like a few sessions. I think directed like at machine learning or, the Copilot stuff probably did a lot with those custom actions and things like that. But what can I summarize for you?
One of the cool things about going to reInvent, and one of the reasons I would love to go this year, or next year, whenever it happens again, is like we dug deep into Bedrock, right? And AWS's AI capabilities. When you go to these sessions, it's not just some random Yahoo, right? Like I can talk about AWS Bedrock, right? Quite a bit about it. But when you do it at reInvent, you're probably talking to somebody on the AWS Bedrock product team, right? Like you're talking to one of the developers on the team or the product owner for, one of the feature sets or something like that, right? That's like where you get the most value out of those sessions is not only look at the session, but look who's leading it. Is it one of the developers? Is it one of the product owners? Because then you get actual influence into the direction of the product. If they're looking for that, maybe they've already got their own product plan, but one of the things they love is feedback from us. Is it useful? Are they just putting an AWS wrapper around something and not really adding any value to it? Like what is it that we as developers are looking for? And that's where like going to reInvent actually like really, really starts clicking, is talking to product owners at AWS, connecting with them, collecting as many. I just found this, Ben, this fell out of my bag from the last reInvent, a little AWS $25 promotion credits. These are like literally everywhere at reInvent. So if you have personal projects you're working on,
get all you can, Ben. I want you to have those when you come back.
I will be looking for those. Yes,
but that's what I loved, right? Like 2 years ago, it was an opportunity for me. I would do it differently this time, but I didn't know anything about quantum computing, and AWS had a whole lot of offerings they were getting out there around quantum computing, like Bracket and
right.
There were, gosh darn it, I forget the other one. But one, you bootstrap your knowledge there, and then you can talk to, the product team about, where it's going and what they're thinking. And that was huge. That was really, really cool. I can keep talking.
Well, I didn't know I just didn't know if Kyle had a follow-up question to that, but I do have a piggyback to that because, getting in and talking to these AWS people is kind of worth its weight in gold because you're forming more relationships. And then if you get stuck on something, you got a connection that you maybe could reach out to if it's a developer or something like that. And it's nice to keep in touch with these people through different various channels. As well, like after the sessions take place and after reInvent's all wrapped up.
And those people they're not just the ones giving the sessions, but they're like in the expo and lighting all the side stuff, maybe even just walking around.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I bumped into some of the presenters at the sessions multiple times, throughout the week, right? Like that's why I say like Monday, Tuesday, get in there, network, make friends, talk to people. You're going to bump into them for the rest of the week. And then the other fellow that I bumped into that was really cool was a guy named Jeff Barr. And he's kind of like the, on the AWS side, follow him on Twitter or Blue Sky or whatever you're on these days. He's like, he's been with AWS forever, but he's like this developer advocate guy that now I think he kind of owns a lot of the community involvement around AWS. So like if you want to know about new product offerings, you'll probably see it on his Blue Sky feed before you see it anywhere else. It's really neat to bump into like micro celebrities like that at these events because, having that guy know who you are helps. Not just you, but it helps SKG too.
Did you know who Jeff was before you got there? Or
oh yeah, no, I've known him I've been following him for almost I want to say at least more than a decade.
Wow.
Ever since I was into AWS services, like he's been a part of developer outreach.
He's been there?
Yeah. Whatever his role is now, I'm sure he's got some crazy important title, but I knew who he was beforehand. And you're not going to bump into, Vogel just kind of walking around the floor. That's not going to be a thing anymore, but you will see some of these other fellas. And they want to be out there. They want to talk to you. They want to hear from you, and they want to know what you're working on. So if you've got a cool project, so I'm super, super lucky. Like I happen to be working on a really cool project right now for SDG, and they want to hear about it. They're like, holy shit, really? You do what? It's kind of fun.
And you're using our services. That's awesome.
Find out how I can stop people from leaving stuff turned on. That's probably something I can Google. Never mind.
On top of
I had
that,
a question.
yeah, go ahead.
Are there sponsors for this thing? Are there like third-party tie-ins? Are there, because a lot of the conferences I've gone to has had a lot of that stuff. I'm wondering if it's the same because yes. Amazon's so big and AWS is so big. It's all in their ecosystem.
Oh yeah, there's booths the size of a small office in downtown Minneapolis and at the expo that some people pay to sponsor and do all the different things. So that's probably one of the other, big things is take some time and walk around that massive expo area and just talk to people. They got everything from low code partners to data partners to security partners. A lot of those are on the ISV side, where we're on the professional services side. But from a sponsorship side, yeah, they're everywhere. And you'll know the big ones when you get there because the big sponsors are going to buy the cool billboards that you see walking down the Vegas Strip, and you'll see sponsored by Dynatrace or Night Darkly or whatever the big ones are. You'll know. But yeah, go talk to those people. Try to make it to their happy hours and to have some fun outside of the sessions, and take part in a lot of all the other community things that they got going on. I think they got like a pickleball tournament, and they got like a 5K, I think that they run one day, and they got all sorts of other activities outside of just learning. So try to take advantage of all the different things that you can and maximize your time in Vegas. We spent a lot of time at the expo, and it's cool because they have big like for Chad and Peter, like I'm more on the development side, they got all I won't say all, but a big chunk of solution architects
right
there that just have their specialties, and you can go and talk to some AWS SAs and kind of even build stuff right there with them in their little booths right there in the expo. So it's pretty cool that you can do hands-on stuff. If you're looking to get a certification, you can get your certification while you're at reInvent too. So a lot of learning, a lot of sharing, a lot of connecting going on while you're at the conference.
And then, the other at the expo, all of the vendors have booths there too. So an example, like I knew the existence of a company called Launch Darkly, right? Like they're a feature flag, whatever. I've never had to use it in any of my projects. So like I spent a half day twice just in the vendor booth, in the vendor area, walking around getting product demos from these guys. And that's huge for like us, Peter. Like I've never used Launch Darkly before.
Right.
I didn't even know what it was. So you get a demo and they show you and you're like, oh, okay, that kind of makes sense. Or, like Datadog. Right. I'm a user of Datadog, but to have these guys walk you through their own product and show you the stuff that they're excited about, there's just a ton of value there. And it was huge. I mean, it was genuinely a really big deal to be able to see that stuff and then bring that back to your colleagues here. And I liked the vendor tent was
when you talk about those demos and the amount of work it would take to get that many demos arranged at a client, unfathomable, right? Just to get even those two you mentioned, Launch Darkly and Datadog, you're working with a rep, you're trying to get it arranged, you're trying to bring it in. Maybe you use it live on the client side, maybe the client doesn't want to, so you're doing just a pure demo. And you can go around and do that. And you said, 8 hours, get a lot of demos that you wouldn't have the time to arrange otherwise. So that sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, it's like a 10, 15-minute demo. As long as you're up front with it. The other thing, everybody wants to scan your badge. Hey, can we scan your badge? Go nuts, man. When you sign up for this, use a disposable email because once they scan your badge, your inbox is toast. It was as big a deal for me to just have the density of vendors in one spot and being able to talk to those guys as it was to talk to the AWS guys in the presentations and talks and everything like that.
Imagine you can compare and contrast services at the same time too, right?
Oh yeah, I would bounce back and forth between Dynatrace and Datadog, and I was like, "Hey, they said they could do this. Can you tell me how did you do that?" Like that was fun. That was neat.
I'm exhausted now and I haven't even gone.
Ben, you sounded like you wanted to talk about something.
No, I just listening and just taking it all in and just thinking about all the different things that we got to do during the week.
Busy.
It is a busy week, and between that and still trying to get client stuff done or other meetings done while you're out there, it's like the work doesn't stop. So you're even filling gaps with other things while you're out there too, as well. But yeah, it's a pretty fun conference, and looking forward to going, and hopefully in the years to come we can bring more people and get more people back out there.
We did a deeper dive on a prior podcast about just conferences in general. So if people want to go out there and check that out, you might get more tips and tricks.
One of the more fascinating things about this event, I mean, every vendor, the larger vendors throw after parties every day, right? And the scale of these parties is kind of silly, right? Like they flew in sumo wrestlers for the Sumo Logic after party, and we were there and we saw it, and then it was like free drinks and everything, and it was at Caesars. It was the Coliseum outside of Caesars, and I'm like, it just blew my mind. I was thinking in my head, Ben, when we were at that, I'm like, are they getting out of this a couple new subscribers? Right. This feels more like their company party than that we're invited to, than a thing that's going to, bring back business or something. I don't know. I could be wrong, but it's...
They thought you were going to pace yourself, Chad. They had no idea.
Yeah. You tell yourself that you're going to pace yourself. You don't actually pace yourself.
The other big one is Mission. Mission Cloud puts on a ginormous party. They rent out a whole club. And when we were there a couple of years ago, we were at Tau, and it was outside by the pool and DJ and all the things. And
that was the rooftop one, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and then last year, I think they brought like Nelly or Ludacris in or something like that, and had a big like hip hop concert. And so to Chad's point, like these companies go all out, and it's a nice way to let loose a little bit while you're out there. But again, it's a marathon, so try not to overdo it.
I remember that Tao one because I was at the bar, and there was this young lady next to me, not getting service, and we were talking a little bit, and I'm doing something I'm in the cattle industry right now, right? Like doing a little work for that. And I told her, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing cattle stuff. And she goes, oh, I work for Bumble. So I'm kind of the same. We're both heavy into I thought that was hilarious. But that's the other part of it too, is not only the people presenting, not only the vendors, not only anybody else, you run into people that work for Bumble, right? Like she was an API, or she was a backend developer for Bumble, and you just hear completely different perspectives on what we do, from things that, we're a Midwestern consultancy, right? Like we're going to have Midwestern customers, and we're probably not going to bump into folks working on, Silicon Alley or Silicon Valley type project unless you're at reInvent. And then you all of a sudden you're talking to the lady that's, in charge of data integrity for Bumble or whatever that was. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I ran into a guy that was recruited by an ex-recruiter of ours at one of my random, It was the craziest thing. We were just talking, kind of like you're just waiting for your cocktail by the bar, and you just strike up some conversations. And he's like, yeah, do you know so-and-so? And I'm like, yeah. So it's just kind of fun, had a little connection there and spent the night chit-chatting about just various things. So you just never know what's going to come up when you talk to people.
You got to chat people up. You can't be shy. No. Everybody's there by themselves or with a very small group to meet people and talk to people. So you can't be afraid to figure out who they are.
Right. To Ben's point, like I did work that entire week too. I got in at least probably half days every day of actual, work. And it is a little more fun out there because I remember I ran sprint planning for my project cafe on the floor of the Paris hotels, and I had my camera on. I mean, everybody knew where it was. I was in Vegas, but it was really cool to see like the casino behind, like all of the casinos right at the thing, and the camera was facing back, and so everybody could see everything that was happening behind me. And I'm still trying to run sprint planning, and somebody just wins a jackpot, and it was a fun story. I enjoyed that a lot. It made sprint planning a little more fun just that once.
Yeah. How many times do you have a jackpot during sprint planning, right?
I know, right? Probably
pretty
just
rare.
that once.
Pretty rare. I imagine a lot of people are kind of sneaking in work throughout the day too, right?
Oh yeah, you see a
Are
lot
they
of people
set up for that.
They are, yeah.
They got quiet rooms, and they got different breakout things that you could go to. They got like this special, I'll just call it a VIP area. If you're got an AWS certification, they got this little area that you can go off into. They got like different snacks and different things like that are set aside for that. And then I don't know if they'll have it again this year, but like if you're certified, you could build like little Lego guys and kind of around like your certifications and different things. I don't know, it's just silly but fun, things to do.
I'm jealous now.
Well, to get you out there.
I need some minifigs.
Yeah, you build your own AWS superhero minifig.
That's right.
So
I think Amazon sells the AWS little guy Lego kit.
Do they come with like lots of hats that you can wear?
Yes. Yeah. As long as you get there early, like the world's your oyster on how you like build your minifig, because they got just all the things. So
nice.
Pretty fun.
Any more parting thoughts before we shut her down? I know we all have a busy, long day ahead of us.
Nope. I think the biggest thing is make sure that you get to vendors and check out all the fun swag and network as much as you can, get to the happy hours and pace yourself and have a really good time. And if you see me walking around, if you listen to this podcast and you're out at reInvent, come grab me, because I'd love to.
If you see that man out at reInvent at a blackjack table, pick a different blackjack table.
He's taking all the blackjacks?
Yeah, there's a whole story.
We could have a whole podcast around that.
I would just trust me on this one. Let Ben play his game. Just go find a different table to play.
Okay, he's using a different rule card than everybody else?
Yeah.
Okay. One time. Just the one time.
He hits on a soft 20.
No.
Yeah. All right.
But thank you guys for having me back on the podcast. It's always great to talk with y'all.
I think we'll have to have another one and find out what you learned in between the
I want to know
ones.
what you brought back.
Figure it out.
For sure. Yeah. Look forward to it.
I think with that, we can say goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Right. Bye, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Solution Design Group is a digital product consultancy in Minneapolis. Check us out on the web at solutiondesign.com or look for us on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Instagram at Solution Design Group.